What's up everyone, Matt Neddick here, and today I want to talk about session organization, why it's important, and give you a few tips on how to keep things clean. You know what got me in the habit of organizing my sessions? Was having to go back and bounce stems for a trailer song that had about 180 tracks in it 6 months after I created it. There is nothing worse than diving back into a session that is a mess and not knowing what's what. Not only will keeping your session clean help when it comes time to do a mix down or bounce stems, but it'll also help your creative process along the way. So let's talk tips, or previously known as Matt Net Tips. Throughout this video, we're gonna be looking into this track. It's a trailer track. My co-writer and I wrote it. It's called Unfazed. We worked with this dope rapper in LA named Musa. You can check his Instagram out, Sounds by Musa. This song itself is a library track for Liquid Cinema, which is one of the libraries we work for. Super cool. It's like a hip hop, sportsy kind of vibe. So let's just play it for a second, and then I'll hook you up with some tips so you can see how I organized this whole thing. Let's do it. I'm just gonna play it from a little bit through here.
You stuck frozen while I stay in motion. I'ma pass you up while you stop and smell the roses. Pure devotion, you just dip your toes in. Leave you in the past, I was built for the moment. Look, unfazed, tie game, fourth quarter on gas, no brakes, keep going. Can't change me, too tame, too focused. If it didn't break me, it only made me stronger. Look, what's passion, what's pain?
Kind of goes into this low buildy part here.
No shame, unfazed.
And it builds from there, and then it goes to this cool like hip hop section.
I'm a legend when I'm locked in. Keep on winning, never stopping. Can't break me, can't tame, don't bother everything against me.
All right, so you get the point here. So my first tip for keeping your sessions clean is name your tracks. Name your tracks, and you can name them however you want. I typically name my tracks with all caps. I like it to be like right there in my face so I know what I'm looking at. And it's also helpful to throw in certain keywords. So you'll notice looking through my list here, I have like, let's look at the vocals, for instance. I throw in little keywords, double left, double right. If you look at my clap, dance clap, I have snare pitch, so I know that's like my pitch snare. I have my kick, 01 kick. 01s are righty name. And then I have 01 kick heavy, which is a little bit heavier. I'll play you the difference. Here's the heavy kick. And then here's the regular kick. So name your tracks, take the time and name them. And this is probably one of the most important tips. I know it's simple, but when you see it all organized and everything's named and you know what to click on when you need something, it's that much more helpful. And here's a little bonus tip. If you name the track, so let's just call this, for instance, Ultimate Snare Big. There's a command for this. Mine's a little bit different because I have my command set up different. But if you right click here, this is in Logic, and you go to name and color, you can actually do name regions by tracks, and that will change the name of the regions to whatever the track name is. So really helpful if you're, zoomed in super far, and boom, Ultimate Snare Big. See what I'm saying here. So that's a little bonus tip. So now let's move to my second tip here, which obviously you can already see, which is color your tracks. Color your tracks and color your regions. Now, some people do this different. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I like my tracks and my regions to be the same color. So when I am looking at this session, everything is just laid out as it should be. If I'm way over here and I'm zoomed in, I know exactly where I'm at with what is colored. For instance, when it comes to coloring, I like to color my tracks by groups. So, and you can clearly tell, this is like a darker blue, and these are my trailer drums. So if I solo those, right, and then you get to the lighter blue, and these are going to be my regular drums. And so on and so on. You can see I have all my brass is yellow, My strings are brown, I think it's the wood of violins and stuff. All my vocals are green, risers are blue. So this is one of those things that I keep consistent throughout all of my sessions. Anytime I have a new session, I try to stick to these colors for these specific sounds and instruments. And that is just one of those things that over time, I just always know. I always know, like, I need to get to my drums, go to my drums. They're blue, wherever they're at. Just another one of those things. And also another little bonus tip here. There is a command for it, but if you right click, name and color, you can color regions by tracks, just like that. So you can color your tracks and then color your regions. We're gonna throw a little mid tip in here. This wasn't really part of it, but I'm just gonna say it. I like to keep things in specific sections based on the group color and what the instruments are. So again, this kind of goes back to just things I've done over time. I keep my drums always at the top of my session. Then I go to my bass, then I go to my brass, then I go to my strings, synths, I put my vocals at the bottom. I kind of always have this method of where things go. So whenever I work on something old or something new, I just always know where it's at. That simple. So for the final and last tip here, it's kind of already done, and this isn't really something you have to do, but I do like to use groups or folders or auxiliary buses or track stacks or whatever you want to call them, and whatever DAW you're using, I do like to group all of my stuff together. So there's definitely different ways to do it. For instance, I have all of my vocals going to this summing stack. And what that means is all the outputs of each individual track are going to bus 1, which is an auxiliary bus. And this stack here is the auxiliary bus. So if I solo this.
For you gain, that's the game. No shame. Unfazed, you just gotta keep going. That's the game, can't break.
Right? So the reason by doing it this way is now all my vocals are running to this bus, and I can do processing onto this bus. So I can add compression, effects, reverbs, and that will affect everything as a whole. Now, you don't have to do it this way if you don't want all of your sounds to go to one output within that group. Now, what you can do for Logic, again, you can do this in every DAW, but if you wanted to, if I wanted to create a stack here, I can do a folder stack. And what that does is that keeps all of the sound outputs going to their individual, the actual stereo output. You can see it says stereo output here on each one, but it still gives you control of muting or soloing all the sounds at once. You notice you can't put any dynamic effects or any effects at all, no processing on that bus because it's a sub bus. It's not made for that. It's a folder. So another way to do it, again, I just like to keep everything in stacks or grouped together by color. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and those are my organization tips. Let's just play the back end real fast.
Can't face me, I'm a legend when I'm locked in. What's passion? What's pain? Gotta lose before you gain, that's the game. No shame. Unfazed, you just gotta keep going, that's the game, can't break. What's passion? What's pain? Gotta lose before you gain, that's the game. No shame. Unfazed, you just gotta keep going, that's the game, that's the game.
All right, and those are a few tips on how to keep your session organized. I know this was a simple video, but I promise this will make a huge difference in your workflow. It'll speed things up. The next time you need to play that synth that's in the intro and you want to put it in your hook at the end, you know exactly where to find it. So if you like the video, hit me with the like or a sub for the algorithm. Stay tuned for more videos coming out soon, and catch you next time. We out. It's magnetic. Magnetic. I know there's only one T. My name has 2 T's, but it looks correct. It's magnetic. Pretty straightforward. It's like magnetic. Take out the G, take out the C. Replace the G with the T, replace the C with the K. Magnetic. That's how you pronounce it. All right.